right, y'all. Hey, listen. This is the Pull Up Experience, y'all. And we have a good one tonight. We have my man, Mr. Tone Robinson, on tonight. He's going to tell us about real estate investing, how you can get started, and just learning just why Cleveland's a spot to put your money in.
Absolutely.
You know, so we got a good one for y'all tonight. We also got Brittani guest hosting with us tonight, the best guest host ever. You know, and we're gonna have a good time tonight. And I'm also your host, Mr. Brandon Gates, aka National Average Agent. And I am biased, but I believe it's the best podcast in the world, not even just in Cleveland. So I'm glad for y'all tuning in. Let's get right into it. So as y'all know, on the podcast, I like to start from the beginning. Let's start from the beginning. Cleveland born and raised?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What hood you represent? Put you on the spot.
That's all good. I grew up off Union.
Union? Okay, that's up.
I went to John, grew up in the John Adams neighborhood.
That's what's up. That's up. 114 miles for me.
Okay. Yes, sir. So
Yes,
that's
sir.
the Kennedy neighborhood.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I went to John Adams. So
That's
absolutely.
That's up. So let me ask you this. So growing up, was real estate a part of your DNA growing up, or was something that you gradually
Absolutely not.
that dropped in your lap?
Absolutely not, bro. You know, growing up in the hood, man, we don't get real estate experience
Not at all.
or training or financial literacy for that matter.
Yeah.
And so it's a little difficult to try and get those things organically. I got blessed. My mom was a bookkeeper and worked in accounting and things like that. And so I had a natural love for numbers.
Yeah.
And so, but really it wasn't until I got to college that I really started to gain a foothold into real estate and some interest and start taking some independent studies. And, you know, really it was my professor who was telling all kind of stories. While we were in class, he was giving us stories about his rental property and things he had going on and different contractors that was at his house for days on end. And so it was interesting to hear these stories. And, you know, after I realized I had to find a way to pay back Sally Mae.
Oh yeah, Sally Mae. Sally Mae.
Right? I realized that I needed some additional income. And so real estate became just an avenue, really. I just started reading a lot of books and I took some independent studies and I was like, man, I need to find a way to do something. And so I bought my first property the week I graduated from undergrad.
Oh wow!
And that was my first introduction into real estate.
Okay. Oh, so I got so much I want to unpack with that. So
okay.
Let's talk about these books that you read because I know everyone. So I'm a podcast head. If anyone knows me, I watch lots of podcasts. Okay. And the number one book everyone says who talk about real estate, Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Absolutely.
Was that it? Huh?
For sure.
Shout out to Mr. Robert Kiyosaki.
Robert Kiyosaki, absolutely. So yeah, it was one of the first books that I read, probably around 21, 22 years old. I call it a light bulb book because there's not many, when you love to read, there's not many books that you read that shape your thinking immediately. And so Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad Poor Dad was one of those books that really gave me a light bulb to say, hey, okay, everything I've been hearing and been taught my whole life, there is a different way. And so it just kind of opened the door for a different mindset more than anything else. Absolutely.
What are some other books that might have just
Robert G. Allen. Robert G. Allen was another author. He was big in real estate in the 70s and 80s. They always talked about using other people's money. That was always one.
The OPM, you can't nothing like it.
Other people's money. So I got lucky because I was a finance major, and so I was working at MBNA back in the day. If you're from Cleveland, everybody knows MBNA, which is Bank of America now. Yeah. And so just having spent 10 years there, really gained a lot of firsthand experience into the world of banking and finance. And so as I'm signing these promissory notes every semester and every quarter, I'm looking at, oh, wait a minute, I know what these are. I'm gonna have to pay this shit back, right? So just having an understanding and kind of really using my real life experience as an employee. Yeah. And then my experience learning some real estate and just trying to put it into practice more than anything else. So that was my introduction into the market.
So, and I apologize because like real estate that's my light bulb all day, every day. So excuse me if I get into real estate mode. Okay. But let's talk about these methods people can get into real estate because I know everyone likes to talk about house hacking and they talk about the burn, they talk about all the different methods.
Yes, sir.
When you first started, what method did you use to get into real estate?
I was a burr.
Oh, it's a burr. So break it down because my kid is watching. She don't know what the burr is.
Okay, so let me be honest. So all the books that I was reading gave me the experience or understanding that as a first-time home buyer, I had certain advantages.
Yeah.
So I could finance up to a 4-unit property as a first-time home
Come
buyer.
on, tell them.
And so having that opportunity to be able to put down such a low down payment, I found a 3-unit. It was in my old neighborhood, 128th and Kinsman, or in the Abel neighborhood. It was on Abel, but in that neighborhood. And so it was a 3-family, and I rented to my family. I was a terrible landlord.
Just keeping it real.
Keeping it all the way a buck, right? So I was a terrible landlord. I didn't really know how to fix a lot of things. And I felt like I was arrogant, and I was kind of silly. And I'm like, well, I went to school to use my brain. I would pay somebody else to use my hands, you know. But after you pay for work, bad work, over and over again,
you start to learn.
They said, you know, I need to get my hands dirty a little bit. But my first property, I was house hacking. Because I needed the way to be able to pay back my student loans and still be able to kind of have some kind of lifestyle with my full-time job that I already had. So house hacking was the way for me for sure. I still teach that method to this day. That's one of the best avenues to get into real estate.
So I'm about to say, because I know somebody watching like, what's house hacking? Let's break it down. I know you kind of allude to it, but I want to make sure that I know they're taking notes right now, Tom. I know they're taking notes.
Okay.
Let's break it down for them. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm excited. I love house hacking method.
Yes, sir. So house hacking is like anything else. If you're hacking, you're doing something where you're getting over a little bit, for in layman's terms, right? And so the house hack is being able to live for free. Live for free.
I'm sorry. My bad. I should have told him my bell, you know what I'm saying?
I like it. That's the old Staples joint. Right? And so it's really being able to have a lifestyle where you can live or have your expenses paid by other means. So that's the hack. And so I was house hacking. I was house hacking at 23 before it became a term. Right. I just knew that I needed a multifamily. And so I got the multifamily, and I was able to, again, keep my lifestyle, my full-time income, but then have that other money coming in to help pay for Sally Mae. And so I used that method when I started a family as well. When I had kids, I'm like, I got to find a way to pay for them. Right? Let me go buy 2 more.
Yeah.
And so those became the same. I became a hack for that too. That became the way I was able to pay for and support my family. So yeah, you know, house hacking is the term that I use. I still teach that to this day. It's become very popular with the internet and all the gurus on Instagram. But essentially it does work. It's a great method. By getting the opportunity to take advantage of some first-time homebuyer programs.
That's good, because I think a lot of people miss the fact that, like, I want y'all to make sure I heard what he said. So you're living in 1 unit, so that means you're taking care of the biggest expense that we have as people.
Absolutely.
Where you live. You know, as you look at when you divvy your money out, you're paying the biggest portion of it is where you live. So you're taking care of that's already taken care of. But then on top of that, someone is now paying you money to live where they're at, and that means you're getting capital every month. And like you said, either you're saving it up or you're using it to put it towards something else. But that opens a whole other avenue for you to, like you said.
It opens your mind up to the world of investing.
Absolutely. Because
you really now understand that you've got this property. The bank has the biggest leverage part of it, but you're controlling it. And so you can really use that money to fund your lifestyle. And so you're really looking at, oh, wait a minute. Well, I was paying to live. Now I live for free, and somebody's still paying the mortgage.
Absolutely.
And so now, like you said, your biggest expense is taken care of, and now you have an opportunity to look at your world becomes a little clearer because your money isn't so tight, isn't so stressed, right? And so then now you can look at, oh, wait a minute. I saw that building over there. I see this 2-family up the street. Yeah. And so you can start to look at your neighborhood a little differently. And that's really what a lot of investors who are looking at Cleveland are considering is the cheap barrier to entry and the cash flow from all of our properties. And so that's really where we start. Thanks for checking in.
And I know another thing I think people miss is that with all depending on what type of loan, either be conventional or be a first-time homeowner's loan. You're only putting down 3.5 of down payment.
Correct.
And you think about that, if a $100,000 home, how much you putting down?
$3,500.
Come on, you can't beat that. That's your tax refund right there, guys.
So I tell most people really that really to be a first-time home buyer, it only takes about $3,000 to $5,000.
I'm sorry, because
All good.
I wanted to miss that because like that's my when I sit down with people and people tell me all the time, well, I can't own a house because I'm renting. You are essentially already paying for someone's mortgage. Why not let it be your own?
What I tell people at every one of my events, you're already in real estate.
You just don't know.
It's just at what level. It's just at what level. What level are you playing the game?
Title episode, by the way.
What's that?
Title episode. Title episode right there. Thank you, John.
Love it.
Yeah, you're already in the game.
You're already in the game.
And everywhere we turn is real estate.
What level are you at? That's
when you are a renter, obviously you're at the lowest level of the game.
Mm-hmm.
When you go to work, you're in a building.
Mm-hmm.
When you go to church, you're in a building.
Yeah.
When you come home, you're in a building.
Yeah.
The question is, do you own any of it? And so if you don't own it, you're in the game, and your landlord really thanks you. Him and his family thank you.
Him and his family, yeah.
Him and his family thank you. And so it's really just kind of shifting the mindset to be an owner's mindset versus a consumer or a spender's mindset.
No, that's good.
And so that's kind of what we talk about. Really, that's my platform. Is financial literacy is really helping people understand our people as really the crux of it. To understand that financial literacy is something that we all can have. We all can practice some of the basics and really take it to the next step and apply it to really change the trajectory for our families.
So I want to get into so I want to talk about the transition. You went from being an investor, then you went into being an educator. Let's talk about that transition.
It was a long journey.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about it because you went from I think we as a people, and especially nowadays after the pandemic, everyone was a quote unquote guru on Instagram. Everyone was they got they ran out the Lamborghini on Toro, and they talking about, hey, I can teach you how to make $1 billion, but only investing in 125. Like, come on, that don't even make sense. It's like a lottery to me, but you actually done the work. You actually done it. You've done what people say to quote unquote do, but you actually done it. So I want to once again give you flowers for that because once again, it's a difference between watching it and then trying to sell the course, but actually doing it and helping people along the way.
I appreciate that. It's a lifelong journey, to be quite honest. Really, what I was doing is really taking the information that I read from Robert Kiyosaki, read from Robert G. Allen, read from all of the gurus in the 70s and 80s, right? Those are the books that I was reading at the time. And so what I really did is just said, okay, let me find out if it works, right? Let me see if it works. Right. People always say knowledge is power. I disagree. I think it's the application of knowledge that's the power.
Come on now. Come on now.
And so, as a speaker and as somebody who does events on a regular basis, I understand most of the people are not going to take advantage of the information. It's only a select few. So what I really want to do is make sure I can grab hold of that one or two and maybe help them understand the journey, help them understand the learning curve, and really start the process for them.
That's good.
And so we'll help everybody that's willing to listen. Unfortunately, we don't listen too much.
Oh my goodness! It was Neil Davis who was on.
Circle of CEOs.
Yep, he was on. He said. Someone asked him, like, "Are you worried about someone taking your sauce and applying?" He like, he said out of his mouth. He said, "I'm not worried about it at all." He said, "I can give you the game all day, but how many people are going to actually implement it?
That's right.
Take advantage of it."
I agree 100%. I mean, when you consider most people are just talkers. I've heard friends and family forever say, "Oh man, I know you having this event. I'm gonna come support. We about 7-8 events in now, and some of those people I haven't seen. Right? At the same time, when I have conversations with my clients, it's a 15-minute conversation. And they're ready to go.
Yeah,
because they get it.
They're ready. They're ready.
They get it. They get it. And so it's trying to have that conversation with the people that we love is the most challenging. So.
You know what's so funny? Because like even now when we meet a real estate agent, like I would sit down and talk to my family and just tell them about the point of real estate, and they see. I feel like people see you how they grow with you, they see you as how they work. You the person that they grow with versus the person that you have become, and to the time out to become and do the work, take the training, get education. They don't see you as that person, so they can't take what you're saying at full value. They see you as, oh, that's just tone right there.
That's just tone. I get it.
That's turn up tone right there. You know,
turn up tone. The turn up is on Saturday. Real lit. Turn up is on Saturday. You know, at the end of the day, I always consider it like this. Let me show you more than I can tell you.
That's good.
Right? And so, if you follow me on Instagram or you follow some of the events that we're doing, you can see what we're doing.
Right.
Right? And so, the proof is in the pudding. I don't sell a lifestyle where I got Lamborghinis and, you know, Ferraris and those kind of vehicles. I mean, we still in Cleveland.
Right. Pothole City.
Pothole City. Right? So, at the end of the day, it's information.
Yeah.
Right? And we really want to help our people kind of understand that this information is transformative if you take advantage of it. And at the end of the day, that's really what it's about, is taking advantage of the opportunity of the information that's right in front of you, right? And so here's the kicker. We all want to get into our friends and family. We all know a cousin, an uncle that's in real estate. We all know our best friend that's in real estate. But we don't want to pay for the information, right? You got to pay for the information. We all paid to go to college at some point or got some kind of formal training, right? I don't know how many of us are using it, right?
That's facts.
Right?
That's facts.
But this information, I help people take you from non-investor to active investor in 90 days.
Come on now.
So, and we do that. You talked about the different methods, right?
Yeah.
The Bird method and all that. So there's 4 different ways you really can get into real estate. You can get into real estate as a wholesaler. If you want to, try and leverage.
You got to break it down for me, you know what I'm saying? Because like Marquita not here about nothing. She was like at home, like, I don't know what you talking about, you know what I'm saying?
So everybody's on, if you're on Instagram, I'm sure you heard people say you can get into real estate with no cash, and no credit.
It's the magic way to get in real estate, right?
Right. So it's actually true, right? You can get into real estate with a little bit of money, with no credit though.
Yeah.
Right. And so really it's about understanding how to set up your processes in place to be able to help people who are looking to get rid of a distressed situation. So you're really not buying the house, you're not investing in the property, you're investing in the contract. You're the middleman. The biggest middleman in the world is Amazon. Everybody shops at Amazon, right? Everybody shops at Amazon. We all want that thing, and we know where to get it, right? It's Amazon. Amazon doesn't own anything, but they're one of the largest companies in the world. Why? Because they middleman, right? So being a middleman is very profitable, and even in real estate, you just have to understand the processes, understand what's going on, understand how you can marry a house with a buyer, and you can get paid handsomely in between. So that's one avenue. Another avenue is buying and hold, which you talk about, which is the Bird method. That's really where a lot of your wealth is accumulated, is in buying and holding. I've got some properties I've had for 10 years, and some I've had a little longer. I wish I would have kept. I didn't. I sold them too fast. Right?
Because I know a lot of people don't understand what appreciation is. They're like
appreciation, definitely. And if you're in Cleveland, you know everything costs more. Right. So that's the appreciation. They call it inflation, appreciation. You can call it what you want. It's the same thing. And so essentially, that's another way, is buying and holding. Another way is fixing and flip. I just had a property right now we're working on. It's a fix and flip, and you can do it right here in the city. It doesn't have to be a suburb. It can be right within the city.
I know HGTV really glamorized the fix and flip ordeal. I'm about to say we're gonna get into it, but I want to let everybody know it's not like how you see with Greg and Joanna, you know.
Greg and Joanna, the Property Brothers, Fix That House, Fix or Flop, you name it. Really, HGTV has a formula. Right? They like all their formula to be the same for all their shows with a predetermined outcome. It's really all bull. It's not real. When you work on homes on a regular basis, you're always going to run into issues. You're always going to run into issues with your contractors, with your realtor, with your, the different entities involved. And they don't show that as much.
Right.
But the reality is, as an agent know, There's many different moving parts
Contractors,
along the way.
man.
Contractors, the title company, the realtors,
Yeah.
the lender, the appraiser,
A lot of
the
moving
surveyor.
pieces.
There's a lot of
Yeah,
moving
yeah.
pieces, and so being able to kind of manage all those pieces takes some experience. And without that experience, you're really kind of learning on the fly, which is the most expensive teacher. It's the most expensive teacher. And so lastly, getting into real estate, a lot of people are very, very popular nowadays is short-term rental, or what they commonly call Airbnb. And so that's another way that you don't really have to have a lot of money or have to have a lot of credit. There's a term called arbitrage, where you can rent out a space and sublease it out as an Airbnb host, and you can do that immediately. You don't need a lot of money down for that.
Yeah.
So there are many ways you can get into the business of real estate. Those are the 4 avenues we talk about as we put on our events with the bus tour, and so that's kind of how we show people how to get into the business.
You know, and like I said, I love how you broke it down because, like I said, you got people who specialize in certain things, but I love how you encompass all the major ones that people can get into, and I love how you kept it real. You're not glamorizing one over the other. You're just saying these are different avenues you can get into.
These are different avenues, and so really it's a strategy.
Yeah.
What strategy can you employ where? Right. So with the bus tour that we've got coming up, April 22nd, the bus tour is coming up. We really help people get on the bus, and we show them different parts of the city and different strategies that work all over the city. So we'll be driving through Cleveland Heights, showing folks the Airbnb possibilities. It's right there by the clinic. It's a hotbed. It's very, very popular for Airbnb, along with the Case Western, or that 44106 zip code there. So we go into all that. There's a lot of gentrification in those areas.
Well, I'm about to say, we about to mess around talking to a real estate podcast, man. Because I want to talk about that gentrification. Because back in my day, you can't go down 105. You can't walk down 105.
Why not?
Because you back in the day, 105
because it was the hood.
It was the hood.
Okay, got you.
I was down there I was down there with Julius, and we was going on 105. We seen a Chinese kid with a labradoodle and a trombone walking down 105 like it was nobody's business or whatnot. And if he was from Cleveland, you know that if you go on certain pockets, especially like I said, you go down to Huff. Huff was once again used to be a rough neighborhood. Now they got a walking birds down there. You know what I'm saying? So I want to talk about that because I know a lot of people are looking to invest, and they say, "Well, I want to invest in the Heights." I would argue you probably be a better bet investing in parts like that because now the value is going to increase because they're doing so many different projects.
I agree. So that's a double-edged sword. That's kind of a loaded question, right? Here's why. When you're looking at the value of a real estate asset, whether it's commercial, residential, it doesn't matter. You have to look at the value today. Community development takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
And if
It's a
you
long
bank,
game.
it's a long game, and it's politically motivated. So if you are looking at what this councilman is doing and what money they're bringing to the area, it's a losing game. You have to bank on what you can do today with that asset, right?
Come on, I'm sorry. I heard that one time. Dude, bank on what you can do today.
What can you do today? So you talk about the gentrified areas in Cleveland, they're all over the place. You start with Ohio City and Tremont.
Yep.
That was the
hood.
hood.
That was
the
crazy.
Hood. That was the hood.
Yeah.
That's the West Side Projects.
But now you see that's so crazy what they transferred it into.
The height, I just saw yesterday while I was doing my homework for the bus tour, the most expensive part of Cuyahoga County is Tremont.
And that was in the process.
That was the West Side Hood.
West
Side Projects. West Side Projects is $440,000 is the average price of a home in Tremont.
So crazy.
Higher than Beechwood, higher than Solon.
That's crazy. And like I said, I see 105 being on the journey of that.
So 105 is very similar to what's going on in the 44106 area, at least in the Case Hospital UH zone, right? All those large, stupid houses that was 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 square feet, 6, 7, 8, 10 bedrooms. Yeah. Those homes are not being demolished; they're being renovated. Yeah. And so investors are coming in, looking at these opportunities like, that's a $300,000-$400,000 property. So you have in the area of right in the city where you can have $300,000-$400,000 homes. Great for fix and flip, and we talk about that on the bus tour. So there are many avenues, many opportunities right here in our own backyard if we take away our negative Nancy lenses, so to speak, and look at the real numbers and why investors are running in Cleveland. They're doing it for the numbers and the cash flow.
Okay. See, I'm about to mess around. I'm about to ask
Brandon,
you.
I gotta pause you, my brother, 1 second. We got a beautiful sister that's been sitting
my
up there
bad,
quiet the whole
bad.
time. And I would be remiss if I didn't give you an opportunity to ask a question or two.
My bad, because I'm going off.
Colonizing the conversation.
That's all right. But you know what? I'm learning a lot definitely from you. And of course, this is your lead. This is what you do. So I've been really kind of just taking it all in. But I guess I will take this time and opportunity. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
What has been the most fulfilling part of just this whole real estate venture that you have going on? What can you say is the most fulfilling?
F you money.
Okay.
Come on. Come on, man.
Period.
Okay.
I worked in banking for 15 years.
Yeah.
I've had some good opportunities in management and things of that nature. None of that compares to what I do right now.
Okay. That is
So
awesome.
it's just the opportunity to be creative with your mindset to say, I have a daughter in college. She's always calling for this expense or that expense, right?
Yeah.
And so just being able to say, okay, I got you.
To have the means to do
Have
that.
the opportunity to be able to do that. So, I mean, when you work every day, and those of us who have traditional jobs, which there's nothing wrong with that, we're doing what we need to do for our families.
Right.
But the challenge with having a traditional corporate job is your mind is always tied to what do you have to do next for that job.
Yeah.
You gotta be up at a certain time. You gotta be there at a certain time. You gotta take lunch at a certain time. You gotta pick up the kids at a certain time. It becomes a rut, so to speak.
Yeah.
And you're always focused on what you have to do next, as opposed to what opportunities are next. And so, as an entrepreneur, you have the freedom of mindset to be able to, create ways to make that cash register ring.
Okay. Love it.
So those are that's the most freeing, the most gratifying thing is really just to be able to create your own income.
The F you money. I'm
Right.
stack of money. That's what that is right there.
Well, money is relative.
Yeah.
It's what can you use it for?
Yeah.
And $1,000 or $10,000 today is not what it was, when we were younger. But the really, is really taking the opportunity to invest, and so that's what I look for is anything that has positive cash flow. So I look for investment opportunities in any form.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's a great question.
Thank you.
No, because I know Brittany being shy, but you know what I'm saying, that's banking is what she do. So I'm pretty sure she just
You work in banking?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what do you do?
So right now I'm assistant branch manager.
Okay.
But I'm at a credit union now, so it's still, obviously similar.
Yes, definitely.
Situations, but yeah.
Good for you. I know what that role looks like. It's a lot of it administrative, taking care of the audits and all that good stuff. Yes,
all
I know
the fun stuff.
all the fun stuff.
Yeah.
Definitely. So I remember that world very well. You couldn't pay me to go back.
Understood.
Yeah, but I could always.
But you learn so much, like you said.
You do learn a lot, and
Yeah.
then we always need banking services.
Absolutely.
So I'll talk to you after and see what you guys are doing.
All right.
And I'm glad you segued because I'm gonna ask you, what have you taken from your experience being a banker that you use in your everyday with investing?
Every day. Every day. So my clients are investors. They're looking for passive income opportunities. Every realtor can't speak that language.
No, not at all.
Right? And so I feel a specific niche in being an investor myself and being able to manage the asset for another investor, so I speak their language. And so when I'm talking about a return or a cap rate, they understand that I understand what they're talking about.
Time out. You're speaking spicy now, man. You're speaking spicy now. You're saying cap rate. So once again, Marquita watching this, she like, I don't know what cap rate is. You gotta explain, you gotta break it down for her. She watching, she confused.
Let me make it real simple, right? So most investors who are looking at real estate, who don't live in Cleveland, are looking for passive income, right? So they're looking for the home they can get for $50,000, put $10,000 or $20,000 into it, and so they're all in for $60,000, and they're renting it out for $1,300 or $1,400 a month, right? That's positive cash flow. Okay, so the rate of return on that type of asset is probably going to be close to 15 or 20%. So the reality is the books, the stock market, all of the books that you're going to read in college all tell you that 8 to 10% is a solid investment.
Yeah.
Cleveland real estate, since I've been in it since '98, has consistently performed at 12 to 15% or better.
Come on now.
So that's what makes Cleveland the top real estate market in the country, is because we consistently perform a lot better than the national average. So for example, the rent to purchase ratio is usually 1 to 1. If they say it's the 1% rule, right? If the house is $100,000 and you're getting $1,000 in rent, that means the house will cash flow. I disagree. At any rate, so Cleveland performs better than that. So at a $100,000 house, the rent is typically $1,500 or better. So it's a 1.5 ratio or better. Cleveland has consistently done that over the last 25 years that I've been in real estate. So that's the reason a lot of investors are considering Cleveland as their way to get into real estate. Because of the cash flow and because of the opportunity to have, positive income and appreciation, like you talked about earlier.
So like Brittany said, my mind is real because I can talk about real estate all day.
Sure.
And I know there are people who are watching this who are just like they're probably goes to the screen like, I can get how much? And you know what I'm saying? So let me hop to it because we're talk about the bus tour later or whatever. Sure. But let me hypothetical. Let's say I'm beginning. I'm a young person. I just came into. I got my refund check, right? And I said to myself,
very realistic.
Right. I'm like, I want to invest real estate. I just don't know where. Will you recommend for them to begin?
Great question, and I got more questions.
Okay.
Right. Real estate is not a one size fits all.
It is not, absolutely.
Okay. So if you are a young brother who is working and got yourself situated, and you're looking to stop renting and get yourself a home, the advice I would give to you is different than I would give to a single mom who is looking to get, out of Section 8 or stop paying rent or whatever that looks like and start to invest in something for them and their kids.
That's good.
So it's going to be a different answer for yourself than it may be for a young sister, right? And it's going to be very different for an older person who is looking to get into real estate and looking to bolster their retirement or fund their
401k and all that good
or
stuff.
fund their kids' college education, things of that nature. So here's what I would tell most people. The audience that we typically responds to our ads is 35 to 55, and they're women, they're sisters, right?
Get out of here.
Yes, sir. 60%. So
wow.
I know my metrics.
There we go. Time out. Say that. You know, analytics, man. But tell them, man. No it.
So for that sister, right, the number one thing is to stop renting. Because you're one step away from being homeless.
Yeah. That's
How many times do you hear they sold the house and now I gotta move?
Man, listen, I hear all the time.
Right?
Yeah.
So how many times do we hear that story? That happens because you don't control where you live.
Yeah.
So you're one step away from being homeless. Section 8, same difference. Section 8 in Cleveland is a little challenging right now, and I'm being nice on a public forum. So you're at the mercy of someone else as long as you're a renter. So the advice that I would give to an older person or a younger person is very, very different. So in general, to answer your question, if you have $3,000 to $5,000, the first thing I would do is let's talk about your credit. You can't buy a house with $3,000 with no credit. So we're going to talk about your credit and look at ways that we can help you massage your credit to get you to be a lendable candidate. Lendable candidate is just 620. 620 credit score. So with a little bit of attention and a little bit of diligence to your credit, you can be lendable in 3 to 6 months. You don't need to pay the credit repair lady $500 or $1,000. Right. You don't need to pay the credit repair lady because what she's doing is she'll get you situated for the short term, but she's not fixing your habits.
For a long time.
She's not fixing your habits.
It's just a temporary fix.
It's a temporary fix, right? So we have to get out of the mindset of a temporary fix and really get into the opportunity where we can work long term. So that's having workable, manageable credit, right? $3,000 to $5,000. And the first thing I would tell them, I don't care who it is go find you a multifamily.
Come on.
What most people are not aware of is the house hack is real. Why it's real? Because the bank will allow you to use the rental income
from
the other units to qualify. So maybe you only make 50 or 60,000, which is kind of the national average in Cleveland, right? So if you make 50,000, most of us got degrees making that little bit of money too, by the way. So if you make 50,000, you only going to qualify for about $1,200 a month. That's about a $140,000 home. Well, the reality is, if you go find a 4-unit, those other 3 units, the rental income will help you qualify for $250. So you don't only have to qualify for the $125. Now you can qualify for $250 because you're using the rental income to help you qualify. This is not bank specific. This is the national way it's done. Okay, so that's one avenue that I would always tell somebody as a starting point to find you a multi-family home. If you're living in a 2-bedroom or a duplex right now, there's no difference in a multi-family home. It's no difference. So that's typically my starting advice as a generality, as a general rule, is $3,000 to $5,000 as a down payment. Most times you can qualify for seller credits to help you pay your closing costs and things of that nature.
You're talking spicy now, Tom.
So that's the realtor game. That's what the realtors teach you.
But you talking, they ain't ready for them seller credits, man. They ain't ready for that.
You gotta get your seller credits, first time home buyer opportunities.
Yeah, down payment assistance, all that good stuff. Come on now.
What's this? May 8th. So my first time home buyer money is out there right now.
Yeah, come on.
It's out there right now. So really, it's just being smart and understanding the game that you're getting into, so to speak, and understanding that the world of real estate, the world of finance is a language, and you have to have the language to be able to play in this business.
That's good right there.
And so, if you're a nurse, you don't start off doing IVs and doing surgery if you don't know the ABCs, right? You got to go to nursing school. So it's the same thing about real estate. Whether you go get a realtor's license or whether you come get on the bus, the information is the information.
That's good stuff right there. I love it. I think Wall Street Trevor said the best. He said, in order to play the game, you got to know the rules.
You got to know the rules.
You got to know the rules of the game. So, just like you said, in order for you to maximize the real estate, hey, listen, I advise you, get with a mentor, get with Tom, get a real estate professional, get with these people who have done it, who have done the work, who have experienced these things, so they can be able to guide you. So like you said, the most expensive teacher is going to be the one where you got to pay out.
The most experience is we always say, people, you hear it, people say all the time, experience is the best teacher. I absolutely disagree. It's the most expensive teacher because you have to learn and make mistakes to learn. Why not learn from somebody else, right? And so just being able to have a mentor, have a coach that can kind of shorten the learning curve for you.
Absolutely.
Is really the way to, listen, I made so many mistakes in this business, losing money, investing in different properties, investing in people. Really, right? So being able to have discernment to understand what avenue works for me and what avenue isn't for me.
So let me ask you this: what has been your biggest lesson being a real estate investor that you can teach your students? And two questions. It's a two-parter. What is the biggest lesson you learned, and what is your biggest, not saying failure, or the biggest lesson you learned that you can also teach your students also?
Great question. Information is powerful. You can't fake it till you make it. All that shit we learned when we was coming up, if you grew up in the 90s, right? I think we're close to the same age, I don't know. But you can't fake it till you make it in real estate. You cannot fake it till you make it in real estate. You will lose your shirt because everybody has their hand out before you as the investor. So if you are not intimately aware of what your workarounds are or who the different players are, and the different pricing and the different ways, different opportunities, different products you can use, you'll lose your shirt. So information is powerful, and something I learned at MBNA back in the day, the best consumer is the educated consumer.
Come on now.
So it's up to you to be, if you want to get into the business of real estate, to know what you're doing. So that's the ABCs, that's reading the Robert Kiyosaki's, that's reading those books, that's taking a lot of notes, and asking a lot of questions. So that's the first thing. For me, the advice I give is make sure your paperwork is strong. if you get into business, whether it's with a partner, with yourself, with a family member, because you're ultimately better collaborating than you are alone. And so if you are
you made a nice thing up, Tom. I might take this away from myself. I'm gonna light this thing up, man.
So if you are able to, and the best opportunity to work together is when everything is understood in writing. And so being able to have your operating agreement and those different types of paperwork available and handy and usable and implemented in your business will just make things a lot easier. It's a lot harder for somebody to get over on you when you know what you're doing and you got your paperwork in place.
You know, it's so crazy that you say that, because I was watching this podcast with these young men. This back when Detroit was, before it was booming, right? These 4 young men came together, went to Detroit, and they didn't know they had just met. They were in Detroit. They got together, like I said, had their paperwork together. They all 4 invested in this property. And they all now, I think the property, they got it, they came in at $20,000 a piece. They brought it at $20,000, I think they put another $10,000 renovations. Now I think the house is worth $250,000 now. And I think it cash flows at like $2,000 a month. So mind you, these brothers ain't know each other from Adam. But I think, unfortunately for us as a people, we think this person out to get me, or, because, what I'm saying, unfortunately, black people, we think someone's out to get us. But there's paperwork involved, and we plainly know what your involvement is, what your involvement is, and what you're getting, what I'm getting. You can't go wrong with it.
So you're right? So there's putting safeguards in place. You can never outmaneuver nefarious activity.
That's right.
Right? That's like the crackhead that want to break in your house. Your security system, your security doors, all of that ain't enough.
Right.
It ain't enough, right?
Right.
If somebody want to get over,
they're
going to get over, right? The best thing you can do is have solid paperwork, so that you understand, hey, we're all 4 of us are in this together, but you can't go withdraw money from the bank by yourself. It takes 2 signatures, for example. The operating agreement, who's responsible for what.
Right.
So just things like that, make sure your paperwork is in place to make sure that, business is its own language. And there's ABCs to business. Right.
I might title that episode too, by the way.
And so it's all good. And so, right, if you don't understand that language, you're getting into a situation where you are at a disadvantage, and you can be taken advantage of because you don't know what you're doing, right? So paperwork is very, very important. So I tell my students, make sure your contracts are in place, especially for wholesalers. Because nobody's really teaching. There isn't a structured education for wholesalers, right? So making sure your paperwork is in order, and if you don't, you're susceptible to lose your opportunity and lose your deal, right? So thanks for checking in, Teach.
No, that's good stuff right there. This episode's so good, and like I said, I can talk about real estate all night, man. Because hold on. Now we're gonna swing back to our sister over here. Thank you, Tom. Because I'll be talking all night, man.
We're gonna swing back to our sister.
I love it. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
So, I heard you mention about the bus. We've been mentioning this off and on throughout the whole episode.
Yes, ma'am.
I need to know what's going on with this bus.
There we go.
This bus story. Let's hear it.
I'm glad you asked. Okay, we'll leave it there. No, you good.
Oh.
So about 3 years ago, I was watching on Instagram like we all are all the time, right? And so I was starting to see things popping up all over the country where people were doing these real estate bus tours, right? And I said, and so I saw, I cannot take credit for it. One of our brothers here in Cleveland, Beyond
Win, man.
Beyond is doing his thing.
We had Aaron on here too, by the way.
Aaron?
Yeah, we had Aaron on. Yep, we had both sons on here.
And so, I saw what he was doing, and I said, I can do that. I can do that. Right? And everybody comes to the business of real estate from their own experience.
Yeah.
Most people don't have my experience.
Okay.
The banker experience.
That's right.
The investor experience. The master's degree.
That's
right? So there's no shade to anybody. At the same time, my experience is my experience. Right? And so we come at it from a perspective of we can help you understand the business of finance and real estate and being able to apply it in a way that's practical. So about 3 years ago, we started the bus tour, and where we really bring investors from all over the country right here in Cleveland. And so we tour the prime investment neighborhoods in Cleveland, on the east side and on the west side. And so I take people into the property. So I have a whole team of people, from the contractors, the wholesalers, the realtors, the inspectors, the insurance people, the property manager. So we're really talking you through the mechanics of how much we acquired this property for, how much renovation it's going to cost, why we chose these type of products to put into the house versus something else. And that's usually neighborhood specific, or what we're going to do with the property specific. And so we really just teach people the game of real estate and how you can get into the business of real estate in one of those 4 ways. So that's what the bus tour is all about, our next event. So it's become our signature event. We do it twice a year. So this year is going to be April 22nd, is this Saturday coming up. Yes, it's this Saturday. And so we are, man, I'm excited about it. I'm excited about it. So I've got my videographer is one of my homeboys that I went to college with and played football with. Letitia, thanks for checking in. She'll be here at the bus tour this weekend. And so one of my buddies from Miami is coming up to video. My lady from Dallas who's coming up, she's the TV lady. She's coming up to produce the event.
Nice.
Wow.
And so we are, we're working on something to try and put Cleveland on the map in a different way.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
in a positive way.
HGTV, be damned, we coming.
Oh, there you go. Now listen, they're gonna watch it. They're gonna be like, you know what? We need to reach out the tone.
My man Todd, thanks for checking in. I'll see you Saturday. So really the bus tour is our signature event, like I mentioned, and so we turn it into a 2-day event. So the bus tour is from 9 to 6, and so like I said, we tour the east side and the west side. We have a catered lunch in the middle, and then Saturday night is our VIP experience, and so we have a little downtime. Listen. If you can't entertain our people, we ain't interested. Right. So we got a little VIP. We going down to the Improv. We got a second bus that's gonna pick us up. A second bus.
Okay.
With cocktails. Yeah. So I gotta see you guys at 2 wines. And so we got cocktails, dinner, all that's included. And then Sunday morning we have a brunch at 10:30. We're starting everything off at the Aloft Hotel in Beechwood.
Nice.
And so there's a master class and a brunch Sunday morning. So if you're interested, I think we got 1 or 2 tickets. There's not many left for the VIP.
So anyone is I'll have it in the show notes, by the way. So get them tickets because they're going fast, y'all. You know, just who have the show notes, you're gonna go looking around, be right in the show notes.
ToneRobinson.com, TONE Robinson.com. You can check us out on Instagram as well. Tone Robinson Consulting. And so man, we're excited. I'm it's my turn up opportunity. So.
That's what I'm talking about. Turn tone. It's gonna catch on, by the way.
Yeah, it is gonna catch on.
Gonna catch on.
I'm excited to see all of the people. This is gonna be our biggest one yet. I think we're going close to selling out the entire bus, and so people are interested, man.
Yeah.
Listen, people are interested. Okay, people are tired of living the way that they're living. They see what's happening with the government, with the laws changing and things of that nature. And so it's really important to set yourself up where you have an opportunity not to be controlled at the end of the day. And so whatever that looks like is very different for everybody. But real estate is very real. It's happening every day around you. And so you're already in the business of real estate. Why not be an investor?
Oh, dang it. I think it might be time episode. But so many times per episode. We got so many, y'all. But it's all good stuff. No. Listen, we appreciate you, Tone, man. Like I said, one, you're showing the people how to improve their life through real estate. And I think that once again, that's so dope because once again, in the time that we're in, like you said, we got inflation kind of crazy. We got economic struggles that, you know what I'm saying, foreseeing that people aren't sure to do going forward, and now you're giving an opportunity for people to change the situation. So thank you for that, by the way.
I appreciate that, man. Listen, the number one thing I always say about real estate, each one of us could all use $500 to $800 back into our monthly budget every month. All of us, right? And so if you do not have an income producing property that you don't live in, you need to be on the bus.
You heard the man. You get on the bus.
You need to be on the bus, right? So Cleveland has all over the city opportunities where you can invest and make $500 to $800 a month, like in your sleep. And so we show people how to do it really, really easy, and using tried and true methods. We're not coming up with something that we can flip this and this homegirl over here got this and call my girl over here. No, it's none of that. We're straight up, it's your property, all above board, your property, you own it, you get the deed. We just show you how to do it. We just show you how to do it.
Good stuff right there.
Yeah.
Okay. So now we're winding down now.
Yes, sir.
So these are stable questions that we ask everyone on the political experience.
Okay.
That we want to get your
Shoot.
take on.
Let's go.
Okay.
Shoot.
So as you've been in Cleveland, they're born and raised.
Yes, sir.
You know, unfortunately, our city has the unfortunate stigma of being a place where people cannot collaborate.
That's true.
What do you feel like is a way to help break that stigma?
Mindset.
Mindset?
First, foremost, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and last. It's all mindset. When you travel, traveling produces learning. Right. So when I travel, I'm intentional to go to different conferences and go to different cities and different states put on by different people. And so what I'm looking for is how they put on the event, right? The type of people that are there. You talked about D.O. Davis and the Circle of CEOs. Those guys met at a Grant Cardone conference, right? So it's the collaboration where you have to get into the room, right? You have to be part of the conversation. And so if you're not part of the conversation, it's happening for you, not with you.
Come on. Come on now. Come on now. You preaching now, Tom.
Right? So, it's really just being part of the conversation, right? And so, again, whether that's politically, whether that's financially, or any of those ways in between, is just really being able to get into the room. We all have friends and family that, got their downtrodden stories. And some of it's real life stuff. I mean, when you grew up on Miles, bro, you grew up on Union, you know the struggle. Right?
It's evident.
You know the struggle. You know your friends and family that's going through it, right? But why did you become a realtor?
My real reason I became a realtor because, unfortunately, when I bought my house, my ex-wife and both of us, no one in our family had ever bought a house before. So literally, when we were buying it blind. So unfortunately, our real estate agent at the time, I feel like he's looking more of us being a commission check action than actually helping us buy a home. So now, when I give clients, I'm not in it for just the money. I'm not in it to just get commission. I'm here because I know it's going to change your life. It's going to change your kids' life. It's going to change your grandkids' life, all depending on how you do it.
So it's interesting to hear that, right? Because I hear that and I say that's great that you have that mindset to be a servant, so to speak, right? It's still a commission-based business. So the majority of the folks are not going to think like you. So from my experience, realtors are profit-motivated. As we all are, in fairness,
absolutely,
right?
Absolutely.
But every listing is not a deal. And so it's up to that consumer to just say, okay, Mr. Realtor, I know you sent me these 5 properties, but ain't none of them a deal. I want a deal, right? And so it takes an educated consumer to be able to have that conversation.
Absolutely.
Right? And so to hear a real estate professional like yourself say, I got into it because I felt like I wasn't given the best attention, right? Information is your attention.
Absolutely.
So if you got the information, you don't need to rely on somebody else.
Absolutely.
Right. So that's what we do in 422. It's all about the information. It's all about really sharing the knowledge. This is my passion. This is what I give back. This is my way to give back to the community while having a for-profit business.
There we go.
Love it.
There we go.
Yes, sir.
So now I want to talk about the future. Talk about what's coming up next. What's coming down the pipeline that you're working on, and where do you see taking Tone Robinson Consulting in the future?
Great question, man. Thank you for asking that. So, when I got into the world of consulting, I started it from a speaking engagement. And that was my entry into being an author. I published my first book. And so now I have multiple books in the hopper.
Nice.
And so doing more things in the author space.
Okay.
And that's one aspect. The second aspect is we're really taking the bus tour and what we're doing with the bus tour, and we really want to put it on TV. And so we have a connection with our lady from Dallas. Shout out to Zandra TV Network. So she's coming in. We've been going to Dallas to film different things and different content and be on her platforms. Now she's coming to Cleveland. So she's going to be on my playing field, so to speak. And so we really want to just show what Cleveland is really all about.
It's basically going to be like a pilot, huh?
So it's a mini series that we're working on, 6 to 8 episodes. We've got one already filmed. I think we'll be showcasing that at the VIP.
Nice.
And so at this event, I think we're going to shoot 2 episodes within the whole course of the whole weekend. So we're really trying to get a 6 to 8 mini series of content and shop it to the different platforms.
That's a couple beats, man. Because you think a long game, you like.
Well, I mean, really, Cleveland is what Cleveland is.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful place if if it's projected through the right lens, right? And so nobody's going to show Cleveland unless it's a Clevelander. Yeah. Right? So being born and raised and educated here, I think it's an opportunity for us to, really show in an edutainment kind of way how you can learn, how you can have fun on the bus, and we're going to showcase some of the people that we've helped and who've gotten their first property and things like that. But also really working with our community partners, because that's the other part of it that we're doing, is working with our battered women's shelter, the United Way, some of our behavior health organizations to really house some of the MRDD folks and things like that. So we really work with a lot of the different community partners to be able to show, hey, listen, you can have a for-profit real estate business and do good in the community as well.
Listen, y'all, that's awesome. Listen, can I be in the background? So I'm asking.
My man.
Look in the background. Let me make a short camera. Like, hey, what's going on? I'm just playing. No, that's a dope, man. I know. We'll be looking back at the episode like, man, Tone, man. Now we see him all around, all over.
So I mean, TV business is fickle, man.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna keep pressing and keep doing what I'm doing. Yeah. Because that works. My formula works.
No,
right?
listen.
We built the ecosystem, and so we're gonna continue with that. And TV may come at those opportunities come and go. Yeah. For certain individuals, I'm just hoping I got the face to make it work.
Hey, listen, man.
But at the end of the day. That may come and it may not, but we'll continue to still put on these bus tours, give our people an opportunity to invest in their own backyard, because everybody else is.
No. And I see greatness on you, man, because once again, you are a person who's charismatic, but also can give. I remember I was in church with Pastor Son Real. He said, the best mark of a teacher is be able to take the cookies from off the top shelf and bring it down so people can.
You have to.
And that's
listen, man. Our people don't understand finance, though.
Yeah.
Let's just be real. We don't understand appreciation, interest rates, cap rates, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, equity.
So to be able to break those things down in a tangible way, to say, look, the house is worth this, now it's worth this. Yeah. That's the difference, right? Yeah. So just being able to kind of explain those things in a tangible way. I guess that's my gift, right?
No,
so I'll take that.
That's good stuff right there, man.
It is.
So thank you, man. Thank you guys.
No, thank you.
Thank you.
This has been awesome. Thank you so much. Learned so much. We'll talk after this show.
I appreciate it. So what bank are you at? What are you doing?
I'm at Cardinal Credit Union.
Okay.
So, like I said, I'm assistant branch manager there. I have a brand new branch.
Okay.
So, just kind of having to shift my mindset from the bank, which I've known for almost 10 years.
Sure.
To credit union, they do things a
little
bit
different. Sure they do.
Yeah. So but it helps more people, and that's what made me do the shift in the first place.
Really? Good for you. Good for you. So let me ask, with your products, because I know you know, do your business products report to D&B?
That is a great question. I have to find that out and get back to you. No,
so that's the thing, right? So with a lot of credit unions, I just took some money out of a local black-owned credit union.
Okay.
They don't report to D&B.
Okay.
So when you're in the space of a small bank or a small credit union, being able to help your clients is important.
Correct.
And so in this area, you know, small business, you know, or business owners, entrepreneurs have access to credit or access to capital limitations.
Correct.
So when our local banks don't report to DMB, they don't have the resources to put us in the next position.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm sorry, Marquita's watching this right now. When you say DMB, what do you mean?
Dun and Bradstreet.
Dun and Bradstreet.
Yes.
Okay.
Dun and Bradstreet.
I want to make sure because you watch, you're like, what's the DMB? I make sure she understands, Tom.
I got you. So yeah, you know, really, man. So just being able to understand how business and business credit works.
Yeah.
Being able to put your it's a totally different thing, and so that really kind of jump starts.
Time out.
Get myself in this
So you telling me well, me being a landlord, me on a property, I can then turn this house to a legit business, and
it's already a business.
And obtain business credit.
It's already a business. It was a business the day you bought it. Because if you're not moving into it, you're considered a non-owner occupied property. The bank already considers that a business. It's just less risky than a business you're going to start on your own because they're going to have a loan tied to the property. So it's already a business. You already operate an LLC. Already operating a business entity. You might as well incorporate it.
Oh,
yes,
man.
Yes, sir. And really the way the tax laws have changed, you no longer get your mortgage interest as a tax deduction unless you're a real estate professional.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Unless you're an investor. The tax code is more advantageous to the investor than the employee. So that's why the rates are lower for business owners. So it's important to make sure you have an LLC when you do have a home, because when you're writing off your property management expenses, your grass cuts, your gutter cleaning, and all that, it's no different than writing off your modem, your paper, your rent for the business. It's all the same thing.
Tonight, man. Talking through spice.
It's all the same thing. So, you know, just really being able to have your business and, you know, have a business that supports the real estate so that and then you need a business so that you limit your liability, your exposure. Yeah, you need to limit your exposure. You
get math class in this interview tonight, man.
This is lightweight. This is lightweight to what's going to happen on Saturday and Sunday. It's lightweight to what's happening Saturday.
There you go.
So, now, for some of us who may have to miss this tour bus,
yes, ma'am.
such as myself.
Okay.
When was the second one?
September.
Okay.
The date hasn't been announced yet, but it is going to be in September.
Okay.
So if you don't today, follow me on social.
Okay.
We'll have all of the stuff on social media. Absolutely.
Right.
And by the way,
Tone Robinson Consulting.
Yeah, we'll have the show notes,
guys. You guys are welcome.
Yep.
I'll see y'all.
Bring looking out for y'all.
That's
so
right.
September. So absolutely. So. You know, I appreciate you guys having me on your platform.
No, we appreciate
I would love
you.
to be able to, have you guys join us on the bus tour. So I know it's a little last minute, especially for an all-day Saturday, folks who have family commitments and what have you. But if you guys are available, I'd love for you to join us on the pull-up tours on Saturday and join us for the bus tour.
Yeah, you might do that one time. So I'm sorry. So a couple things I want to make sure because I got two questions. And I promise we out of here.
Yes, sir.
But legacy. One of the things I love about this podcast is that I am a firm believer that you are going to do great things. And one of the questions I like asking, what is your legacy you want for just you, Tom Robinson, but then you also want to have for your business? What are the legacy you want to leave behind? Because, one way or another, what Jim Rome said, he said, life's so risky, no one gets out of it alive, right? So that's the realness about it all. But once again, it's the legacy that you want to leave behind, that what people think about.
I have kids. And so I have 4 kids, and 2 boys and 2 girls.
That's what's up.
My oldest is in college.
Nice.
She could care less about real estate. Right? And so the message to her is because she has a double major, dance and health science.
Nice.
And so her passion is dance.
Yeah.
And so I tell her, you can have a dance studio and help people and do the things that you want to do, but you can own a couple of Airbnbs too.
Tell them.
Right? Own where you live.
That's right.
So that's the legacy. We're starting with what we're doing, and we're showing the kids how it's possible.
That's good.
So that's the legacy. My son right now is he's hilarious. He wants to be a business owner. He's 10 years old. I helped him get his logo together.
Yeah.
He wants to sell his T-shirts and beanies and hats and all of that. So, but that's a beautiful thing because really what they're doing is they're learning by watching. You know, the kids are sponges, right?
That's good.
So they're learning even without, and the questions that they ask, they're learning. By watching, right? And so it's imperative that I show my kids what the next legacy is, what the next steps are. Here's the deal. The kids don't care about the properties.
Yeah.
They just want the money.
Get the money. Yeah. That's true.
Right? So it's important for us to put the things in place and put everything in place so that they can take advantage of everything that I've built along this journey and still build it, right?
Yeah.
And so that's my legacy is the kids, for sure.
That's good. That's a great legacy, by the way.
A legacy for the business, you know, succession in any business is tough. You know, like I know, the businesses that our parents had when we were coming up, none of us wanted that shit.
No, that's real. That's real.
And here's the thing, our kids don't want our stuff either.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So succession planning is really imperative for the longevity of the asset.
Yeah.
Or you can just put it in place so that it dissolves itself.
Yeah.
And you just keep that, you know, just keep the assets, the hard assets.
That's funny you
die,
say
and
that.
you die with a lot of debt. That's the kicker.
Because I seen this article saying a lot of baby boomers are retiring, and like this is the biggest transition of wealth because so many baby boomers are leaving businesses behind. Like I said, the kids don't want to take over, so they're still in the businesses to people who have the money now or whatnot.
Correct.
It's crazy about how, like you said, the kids don't want it. They, like you said, they want the money, but they want to take over the business or whatnot.
Well, real wealth in our country is transferred. You know, you got the Oprahs and Jay-Z's and the Shaqs and those people that make their money during their lifetime. For the majority of Americans, it's passed down. So that means when mom and dad pass away or when grandma and grandpa pass away, they're leaving something behind. For us, we normally don't get an inheritance. Right? So we're behind the 8 gap in terms of the pass down. So at this point, we're just trying to play catch up. So what we're doing is teaching you how to play catch up.
That's good stuff.
At the end of the day, so that you can put yourself and your family in a different situation, so that you're not one of the ones that's trying to sell fish fries to bury you.
Oh man. I'm sorry.
So we all will pass at some point, and so it's imperative that we have the basics in place, like life insurance and things of that nature. Life insurance outside of your primary employer, so that you can, you know, take care of your family in the way that you choose, versus the way that's somebody would choose for you.
Ooh, that's good right there. Okay, so I don't let this thing go. I can't hit it like 18 times tonight.
My man.
I think it's a record.
And like I said, it might be a record. So my last question is, I think it's the most important question because I know it's going to be a young man or young lady watching this tonight, and they're going to want to be like, man, Tone just hit us with so many great things. And I think the mark of any great interview or any good discussion is have some takeaways. What are 3 things you want someone to take away from your interview tonight? Because you've been dropping bombs left and right, man. You're dropping bombs left and right, bro.
I appreciate that. It's difficult, you know. I'm just going to reiterate what I said before. The best consumer is an educated consumer, right? So if you're looking to get into crypto, stocks and bonds like Wall Street Trapper, if you're looking to get into EFTs, everything is risky.
Everything.
Based on the information you have. So the more information you have, the more you can demystify some of the things that you're not sure about. So information is critical, and analysis of that information. We all can Google and look up something, right? But it's the analysis of that information that's the most important. So information and being an educated consumer is definitely number 1. Number 2, man, y'all challenging me tonight. You know, for a young person, and I'm going to put myself in my 18-year-old body, I would do it all over again the same way. It's very difficult to become an entrepreneur from scratch. We all need the benefits of an employer to teach us the basics, how to come in on time, how to wear the right uniform, how to follow policies and procedures. All of those kind of things are so important. And so you learn that from a job,
Yeah.
right? We all learn that from our
That's
jobs. And without having that experience of having the job, entrepreneurship is harder.
Ooh.
And you're learning by experience, right? Which is the most expensive teacher. You're going to lose some customers along the way. You're going to have some bad relationships along the way, right?
Yeah.
And so just really being able to tune in to the craft that you have. And lastly, relationships make the biggest difference. Finance, real estate is all about relationships. And so really being able to have some positive relationships, right? You and I just became acquainted, but I know that you're a realtor, right? So guess what? Now I have somebody else that's in my Rolodex that I can reach out to for real estate opportunities. And so just being able to and you're a brother, right? So it's a brother that looks like me, that's in my city, roughly the same age, in the same industry. Why are we not collaborating?
Absolutely.
Right? And so it's the relationships. So that's what the bus is all about. It's not, we're gonna learn.
Right.
You're gonna tour some properties, but it's about the relationships that you gain on the bus from the other investors, from the contractors. We all need stuff done in our homes, right? So, but 9 times out of 10, you don't do it, or it sits longer than it has to because you don't know who to call.
Right.
That's what the bus tour is about. Relationships. To be able to call a handyman, to call a contractor for this, to say, oh, okay, I got this issue. I know Tone said this guy's good. He's not going to rake me over the coals. Right? So those are the kind of things that really make a difference. That's the biggest takeaways. Your relationships, the knowledge and information, and being able to have your own business with some context from an employer. Start your business while you're still working.
Tom, like I said, this has been, I think, a masterclass. If you haven't been taking notes, I don't know what's wrong with you. Rewind it, do what you need to do, but he has given so much game that these quote-unquote gurus will charge you $1 million for. He just gave it to you in the last hour long, you know what I'm saying? So if you have not got tickets, make sure to get tickets for the bus tour. I will have in the show notes, no excuse.
Link in the bio.
We'll
check you soon.
Yeah, so listen, I can't thank you enough, Tone, man.
Thank you, guys.
This has been a great episode, my friend. Like I said, I see great things for you. Like I said, we'll see you on HGTV. We'll see you on prime time. You know?
Well, streaming TV first. Streaming TV first.
Yeah.
And then we'll make our way to linear.
Absolutely.
If it's God's will, you know. I mean,
Absolutely.
shit. Linear TV, you gotta have a certain look, bro.
Hey, listen, man. Hey, in this day, man, I feel like you got good quality thing that's gonna make people watch. It don't matter.
You gotta have drama, bro.
Hey, listen, just go drink some wine, and then voila. You know, you know, on the bus, like, ha.
Bro, you from Cleveland, we don't do that shit.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. My bad. You're right. I watch Real Housewives and something like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, that works for TV.
Not Cleveland.
Not in Cleveland.
No, you're right about that.
Not in Cleveland at all. Ain't no throwing no wine. Matter of fact, the wine costs too much.
Hey, you know, it's hard talking. It's so good. You know what I'm saying? You don't. I'll throw it, but it tastes so good. I'm not next time.
We ain't throwing no liquor.
But no, thank you, man.
I appreciate it.
This has been a great episode, man. So, like I said, guys, check them out today. Like I said, don't worry, you're gonna go search around, have the show notes so you guys can get your tickets as soon as possible. Listen, so like I said, we'll pay some bills first. I want to thank you guys for tuning every week. The subscribers, y'all still subscribing. I thank y'all. And once again, I think it's because we have great guests like Tone who come on and bless us with his presence and educate you guys with this great information. So once again, we want to thank you guys for tuning in. Lastly, guys, you guys are waiting for it. Just like Tone Bus Tour, we're doing some podcasting. We are going to have a 2-day training course. We're going to teach you how to start your podcast, how to build systems, how to reach out to guests, how to get monetized, get paid from your podcast.
That's the kicker right there.
We're going to show you. We're literally, we have the information together. Now we're just looking for the venue and we're getting to the date. When we set that, guys, get your tickets, we can go fast. You know, because once again, the great thing about it, we're showing you, is you guys, you watch the episode, you know what we do. Now we're going to show you how to do it just like we do it. So once again, stay tuned for that. It's coming soon. And listen, guys, we can't thank you again. Until next time, this is episode 119 of the Pull Up Experience, guys. Until next time, peace.
See you soon.
Yeah.